everyone, this is episode 2 of Caravan of Consciousness. In today's show, I interview Santos Bonacci. Santos is an astrotheologist, syncretist, astrologer, accomplished musician, multi-linguist, animal rights activist, truth seeker, and all-round good guy of benific Jupiterian vibration. Santos can be found on his YouTube channel at Mr. Astrotheology. He also has the website universaltruthschool.com and can be found on Facebook and Twitter. I will leave links in the description to all Santos's contact details, and I hope you enjoy the show. Okay, we're here today. It is Monday the 1st of April and we're up at Maroochydore at the Cafe Nurture with Santos Bonacci. Hi Santos.
Hey.
Just going to ask Santos a few little questions, just have a little bit of an informal interview here for my podcast, Caravan of Consciousness. Okay, so first of all Santos, when did you first realise that the world wasn't what it seems? Did you realise what from a child, or was it something that sort of came to you in later years?
Yeah, in stages, I would have to say. I have been semi-awake most of my life, but that's very different to being fully awake.
Yeah.
So, for instance, in '92, when my son was born, I knew not to vaccinate him. So he's unvaccinated. He's 25, 26 now. Very healthy, very happy. So that's one of the things that I can point to that shows that I was using my own mind when it comes to health. But at the same time, other areas were still dormant as to the world and its true machinations. So, for instance, I was going to dentists at the same time getting root canals.
Yeah.
So whether it's a lack of awareness or consciousness or research that we all suffer with,
yeah,
we're all uncovering the layers of deception of this world one layer at a time. And where I am now, I can definitely say I'm way more advanced than any of the previous years.
Yeah.
But there's still more layers. Definitely there's more layers. Yeah. So that answer, I have to say that for this current awareness state that I'm in, that journey would have started in 2007, to be very specific.
Yeah.
That's when I woke up.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Yeah.
I read a book by Andrew Carrington. What's his name? Anyway, he wrote the book The Synagogue of Satan. I read that in 2007. It was about the Rothschild control and domination of the financial system and all of the assets of the world.
Yeah.
And that set me on a path. And then from there on, I just started ordering books on Amazon, one at a time. Almost every day I had books coming to me. Got a massive pile of books at home. All good books.
Yeah.
I've never read a fiction book in my life.
Yeah.
One was given to me when I went from primary school to secondary school. I was given a gift. That's the only fiction book I have ever read.
Yeah.
Everything else, it's all science and knowledge based.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, the next question I've got for you is, can you define astrotheology?
All right. Well, astro is the same as astor, stars. And theology, well, we know what that is. So astrotheology indicates that there is an astral light, God is light, source for our theology.
Yeah.
Our theology is not based on hocus pocus, blind belief. It's based on the stars, astrotheology.
Yeah.
And astrology is the sister of astrotheology. And what exactly is it? Well, it's where you show how mankind, in their wisdom, encoded all of our holy books with personifications for the natural elements, which we call God.
Yeah.
The Netas, the Egyptians called them. The nature, angels.
Yeah.
And so we attribute these transcendental forces to the gods. And they are what? Well, the scriptures tell you. They are light.
Yeah.
Just as we are light bodies. You've got a beautiful light body there, it's radiating, you're alive, breathing.
Yeah.
That's light. It's a light and sound show. Everywhere you look,
Yeah.
there's a child of light.
Yeah.
This is a child of light, this smartphone.
Yeah.
See? Because when the scriptures say, and the word was made flesh, but the word is sound, obviously,
Yeah.
and flesh, this is flesh.
Yeah. Solidity.
Cymatics,
Yeah.
this is brought to you by sound and light.
Yeah.
Sonoluminescence, therefore that's the word made flesh.
Yeah.
And so, when you go to church, you go to a pastor. Well, why doesn't he talk about the asters?
Yeah.
Because they are lying cowards, deceivers, and they're hiding the fact that the Bible is all about astrology and astrotheology, because it doesn't suit them
Yeah.
to teach people the truth.
Yeah.
It suits them to keep them blind and stupid in their churches and waiting for a vicarious salvation rather than doing the good works and saving themselves from their poor health, their bad diets and their evil vices which haven't transmuted into virtues due to laziness.
Yeah. So the next question, which pretty much ties in with what you were just saying, is can you define syncretism?
Easy. The ability to merge all fields of knowledge, syncretize them.
Yeah. So bringing everything back to that one, like drawing from all different teachings, all different styles, all different theologies, and bringing it back to the one.
Philosophies, fields of knowledge, sciences, they all come back to one. They all come back to the torus field, which is the atom, which is energy, which is consciousness, which is God, and everything else. The torus field. And when you know how the torus field works, the energy is propagated through the sine wave, and the sine wave has 12 parts to it, which correspond to the 12 signs of the zodiac. Then you understand the energy and how energy is a 12ness. That's why your heart chakra has 12 petals. And Jesus of the Sacred Heart is always pointing to the heart. He's pointing here. Why? Well, because he's got his 12 disciples. A chakra means a disc. And a disciple. So Jesus of the Sacred Heart, Leo, the lion of the tribe of Judah, has always got 12. It's 12 green. The green heart chakra is a 12-petaled disc. And those are the 12 apostles. And so it's teaching you about, green light and all of this. And so this is our true science. It's real science, the torus field, the Torah. If you're going to be a good disciple, you have to study the torus field or the Torah. Same thing.
And we each individually have our own torus field as well as there is the universal torus field.
Yes, your torus field is called a torso.
Yes.
It's the same word. And you have an anatomy. Atoms. All is atum. You see? When you spread your arms horizontally across, your body's in the shape of a T. That's the tomb that come from the womb. So you come from a womb, and then you end up in a tomb that, funnily enough, looks like a womb. Why do the tombstones look like wombs? Because it's telling you light is the creator, and when light enters into an atom, it becomes entombed. And it does its function, and then it releases its light back to the source when it's finished its function. And so your life is that function. There's a big sine wave for your life, and when it ends, when you're 146 or something and you die of old age, well, that's your sine wave. And in the middle, there's all these other little sine waves: family events, marriages, divorces, children being born, grandchildren, etc. Sickness, disease, overcoming your disease. All those events, they're all in the sine wave. Because there's one pulse, one sine wave for your life. And it's expressed through 12 stages. And and inside that sine wave, there will be packets of other waves. nested in there, embedded in the sine wave, and of all these other little things that you do. And they'll all be similar little sine waves, because it's self-similar. So this life of yours, you'll find that there's all these little repeat cycles. Every January you move house, or every February you find that you get a new job, and you'll find that February always brings the same events. My computer broke down on February the 6th last year, and now it's February the 7th, and it broke down. I've had that for 10 years running. I had breakdowns of my computer every March around the equinox for about 10 years. When you look at your chart, you'll see why, because at that particular time, the sun is actually transiting the 8th house of tragedy, misfortune, death. And it's always happening at the same time around the year. Well, these repeat cycles that are happening in that one big wave of your life, those little packets, they're all coming through too. So once you're aware of those little packets, you can modify them and rule your stars.
Rather than them rule you.
That's right.
So
the wise man.
It's all about being aware. Once you're aware of the patterns, you can then work towards
modifying them to your advantage. Everything is about modifying energy. There's only one thing to do here in this world to understand: how to manipulate magnetic energy. There's such a thing in magnetism, in the toroidal field, which is called precession. It's called electromagnetic or gyromagnetic precession. So every torus field has a center, and the energy reciprocates. It goes like this. It goes in that, in the vortex, and then out the other side of the vortex. It's reciprocating. But you can't make anything with just reciprocating energy. It has to precess. So what you'll see is these donut torus fields, and the energy's going like that, and then it's also going around like that. So it's precessing. And it's that rate of precession that makes magnetism have a different dynamic. If you can manipulate that rate, you can slow down. It's called the Lemur frequency, or electromagnetic retardation. Okay, so if you can manipulate that, you've got all the magic power that the Creator has at your fingertips. Because then you can manipulate magnetism, and that's the most beautiful thing, that the Creator allows us to do that. We can have floating anti-gravity technology, if we only learn that one thing, how to manipulate.
And we have we have had these things consciously before, haven't we? Like, we've gone through cycles with humanity where we have had been able to levitate, been able to use our full faculties and functions, and it's only in sort of probably relatively recent times that we've fallen back into sort of the dark ages, I guess, spiritually.
It's when this satanic demonic infiltration of the earth occurred, probably in its current incarnation, or in the middle of the 1800s, when the free energy magnetic energy system that was worldwide was destroyed by the industrialists, by the Jesuits and the Jewish Sanhedrin, the Khazarians. They saw the peace of the world and the free energy that we had and the health, etc., and they set about infiltrating all of our organisations, health organisations, religious, Christianity, Islam, financial. Everything was infiltrated and corrupted to extract energy from humanity and channel it into these, let's call them entities for now. You can point your finger left, right and centre. There's the Bilderbergers, there's the Trilateral Commission, there's the Council on Foreign Relations, there's all of these, the think tanks of the Club of Rome, all of these Bilderbergers and criminal enterprises. These are all greedy, demonic, elite families who have nothing better to do than to plunder and pillage and destroy humanity. They are satanic in that they are Saturnian, whereas we, the good people, we are Jupiterian.
Yeah.
There's two classes, there's two twins, there's two brothers on this earth, Cain and Abel.
Yeah.
You know, Jacob and Esau. There's always the twins.
Yeah.
Castor and Pollux.
Yeah.
And one is always killing his brother. Well, this is the Saturnians against the Jupiterians. The Jupiterians are benefic, as in astrology. Jupiter is a benefic. And Saturn is a malefic. Very important to understand what that means and all of its implications. Because from those two planets come all of every contrasting dichotomy and every paradox in the universe.
Yeah.
Satan is Paul, Apollo, the Church of St. Paul. Peter, Jupiter is the Church of St. Peter. That's why they always stealing from Peter to give to Paul. Okay, so it's this war of Peter and Paul.
Yeah.
And it's Pollux and Castor. Pollux is Paul, and Castor is Jupiter.
Yeah.
You'll see the names. Every word speaks to you, and you can see hiding behind the word. Always.
Because we've really lost
the
art of knowing the roots of language. I think a lot of people just talk without realising the etymology and that words actually have meaning. Because it's a lot of the New Age movement have brought awareness to the fact that thoughts are things and words create, but I don't think they realise to the level and get down to the actual roots of the language. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that the English language is the bastardised language?
Legalese is not English.
Yeah.
Most people who think they're speaking English are not. They're speaking legalese.
Yeah.
Okay, so as for these people who like to tell you that English was created for the purpose of enslavement, these people have got nothing better to do than to be stupid.
Yeah.
English is English, angelish. It's the language of the stars. It's the best language, bar none.
It's just been...
Bar none. I speak many languages. I've done public speaking in Italian, Portuguese, Spanish. I've done many presentations of syncretism in those languages.
Yeah.
Nothing is comparable to English. English is the language of angels. It's not Hebrew, it's not Greek, it's not Sanskrit.
Yeah.
It's English.
Yeah.
English is not bastardised at all whatsoever, except for in the Bar Society, who are a criminal, satanic, plundering society of demons.
Yeah.
And they have given us legalese, and we speak that rubbish.
Yeah. Which brings me to my next point. You were involved a few years ago with the Freeman movement, or you had some sort of dealings with the law and common law. Would you want to touch a little bit on that, how you came to be aware of that and sort of...
Yep, well, with everything, when you're researching, sovereignty's got to be a part of it, because it's the key to freedom.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, when I started discovering that too, I started joining groups and going around Melbourne, learning from people who were more advanced than me, and just keeping very, very busy and active in that part of my awakening. So it's always been a big part. Then what I learned, I put into videos. So in 2011, I started making videos, which I included also the subject of sovereignty. So a lot of people out there on the internet probably just know those presentations that I've done, and they've not seen anything on astrology or health or astrotheology or white tantric sacred sex and all the other subjects that I do. So they just know me for that, and that's fine, because that's a good subject. See, in the scriptures, the Lord of the universe, as they call him Jesus, he came to teach us two things, not one. Not how to be saved spiritually and be a priest, but also how to be a king. And he in fact promises in the scriptures that we will be kings and priests with Christ for 1,000 years. This simply means that the message of Christ is a message of sovereignty and how to be free and how to pay to Rome for their taxes. Pay to Rome what belongs to them, but give unto the Creator spirituality what belongs to the Creator.
Yeah.
So in other words, how to be in the world but be no part of it.
Yeah.
And so he was teaching the true way of sovereignty. When he was interviewed, questioned by Pontius, he replied with questions. He didn't answer anybody's questions because he was the king.
Yeah.
When he walked on water, he was trying to tell his disciples that you have to walk on maritime waters. You don't swim in them.
Yeah.
Because the maritime Roman system is an enslavement system, and he was walking on the waters.
Yeah.
So the Apostle Peter, he thought, "Oh Lord, I see you walking on water. Can I do this too?" And Jesus said, "Yeah." So he walks on the water, and he's, "Oh wow, I'm also walking on the water like my Lord."
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, he started doubting, and he started sinking in the water.
Yeah.
You see? Because remember where Jesus came from was all the disciples in the boat were sleeping. You see, in their citizenship,
Yeah.
everyone is sleeping. So Jesus thought they were sleeping, and then there was a storm out. So he started walking on the waters
Yeah.
because those waters are stormy. So he's teaching us.
Yeah.
And that's when he says, "In my name only you shall be saved." Because we have a Christian name. Mine is Santo.
Yeah.
And we have a surname, a surety name, not for usufruct, but for usury, and that's called Santo Bonacci. Now, I didn't crown copyright Bonacci, nor did I crown copyright the all-caps name Santo Bonacci that the government communicates with me.
Yeah.
Your capita diminutia maxima. Letters, dog Latin. So what was he teaching? He was saying, don't use that name. If you want to use your surname, you'll go surety, because it's a surety, sure name.
Yeah. So when you're using only your Christian name, that's when you're
saved from the maritime waters.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
And there are many things in there which show clearly that there are two archetypes of Jesus, the sovereign and the king.
Yeah.
The priest, sorry, those are the same thing, the sovereign and the king. The priest and the king. And he's teaching us that to be spiritual and to ascend, like he said to Nicodemus, you have to raise up the serpent, the Kundalini serpent, as Moses did in the wilderness. He raised up the serpent, and you have to lift up the Son of Man, the Kundalini. You've got to lift it up through proper practices if you want to be born again. You see? So he's teaching you how to be a priest, and he's teaching you how to be a king. But what do they see in church about Jesus? Oh, submit to the government. Oh, Romans chapter 12 says you've got to submit to the authorities of this world. It's because you're submitting to God, and blah blah blah. Pay your taxes and just take it. And that's not the message of Jesus. The message of Jesus was shun this world, get out of it.
Now, when and how did you come across the flat Earth truth? Or
Well, I've known it since I was a little...
remembering of the flat Earth.
Yeah, the remembering. Good one. Yep. Well, I've known about the flat Earth, of course, since I was a little boy, because I was intelligent, and I did my own thinking and reading. The only thing is I used to laugh at it. As a Jehovah's Witness all my life growing up, we would laugh at it, You see how stupid the ancients were? They used to believe that the Earth was flat and stationary. Then Copernicus came around 500 years ago, funded by the Jesuits, who only teach lies, and he told us the truth. Didn't he? Of course Copernicus is a truth teller. Funny about his name, it's got Nick in it 2 times. Saint Nick is the devil, Nicholas Copernicus. They're telling you who's teaching you the bullshit story of the Santa Globe, and that is Saint Nick himself, the Jesuits. And then Galileo Galilei comes along. Now, I've pointed this out in my presentation. Galileo and Galilee, which reminds you of Jesus walking on the circuit of Galilee. Well, when you look up Galilee, that word, it means to rotate, to move, the circuit of the zodiac. What's Jesus doing with 12 signs? Disciples walking on the circuit of the zodiac, called the Circuit of Galilee. According to Strong's Concordance, I'm not saying that. I don't want to say anything that might disturb anyone. They can be disturbed by looking at their Strong's Concordance and seeing that Jesus is the Son and the 12 disciples are just that, the 12 months of the year and the 12 signs of the zodiac, period. So when they tell you that Galileo Galilei, which means moving, rotating man, fiction, Jesuit, they're trying to tell you the joke's on you, you idiots, because the last words he said when he recanted was "e pur si muove," which means in English, and yet it moves. So he's famous for this moving that he says, oh yes, it moves, the earth moves, the zombie idiot Jesuit liar. And yet that's what Galileo means, to rotate, to move, to rotate. And these Jesuits are just laughing at us there. All these morons, these bacon-eating, swine eaters, they're going around saying, oh yes, Galileo Galilei, he's the one who recanted and said that the earth moves. The joke's on you. It's Santa Galileo Galilei and it's Santa Copernicus and the Santa Globe. The joke's on these idiots. So I stopped laughing about it in 2014 when some very intelligent people all around the world were sending me the latest stuff. And at first I'd look for 5 or 10 minutes and I just... The reality of it, even if it were true at the time, I thought, well, I've been laughing at this I remember knocking on people's doors thousands of times over the decades as a Jehovah's Witness, in English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, and all the languages I used to go visiting people with, telling them that, we have scientific evidence now that the Earth is a globe, blah, da, 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 and the Bible even teaches it, blah, da, da, all of that BS. But I stopped laughing when I realised I can't continue writing back to these people and saying, oh, this flat Earth is bullshit, It's obvious that I just couldn't do that and go to sleep and then wake up the next day and say, oh, I'm Santos Bonacci and I'm a truther. And just send emails back to these beautiful people, far more intelligent and awakened than me, trying to wake me up from my stupid Santa Ball teachings in my Astrotheology. So I did the due diligence. And now I know, like all scientists, real scientists know, according to tests, repeatable, provable, verifiable, that the Earth is stationary.
So the next question, are you Mandela affected? That seems to be a big thing that's talked about a lot on Teresa channels at the moment, about the Mandela effect.
So are you asking, do I see the Mandela effect? Have I looked into it and everything?
Have you looked into it? Have you had any instances where you have had things change that you knew were a certain way and now apparently in this reality they've never been that way?
Yeah, I've seen it. For sure. And I understand it probably different to other people, differently. I have my own take on it. And one of those takes is that within the system, that the agenda people, like transgender, what other agendas? I mean, I can't think right now, but those people there, when they make a product, they always do it on a spiritual level. So if they name their company, they will use symbols, like the symbols we see around. And symbols have many meanings, you see. So what they do is, like, they'll make a movie and they'll have a different ending, and they'll archive that. Like Casablanca, for instance. Remember the famous second ending that supposedly didn't end up at the... So the 1942 film, one of my favourite films, Casablanca. Anyway, it was famous that there was a second ending. It wasn't supposed to end so tragically. They did a better ending, a happier ending, but then no one ever saw it. But it was famous, And that's what they do with these movies. Like, for instance, the Forrest Gump one, Life is like a box of chocolate, or Life was like a box of chocolate. they do so many takes.
Yeah.
They do so many takes. They don't just do one take of every scene you see in the movies. There's probably about, sometimes they do up to hundreds, tens to get it right. And with all the editing materials that they've got, they are able to make not a second or a third version. They can make many, many, many different Forrest Gumps, not just the two.
Yeah.
They can do this. And how do they do it? By going back in time? That's a trick.
Yeah, because people have said that they've, and I've actually experienced this myself, that books or DVDs or CDs that we've had on our bookshelves for, the last 2 or 3 decades or whatever, and we know they were a certain way, and we can go and grab our movies now and put them in, and they're different. So they have changed even within our homes. So.
Yep. So having explained it the first way, now I would like to explore that way, that there's a time jumping thing going on as well. So there's two things happening, and I know this because they've already done that in an obvious way with movies and things like that, and shown us some of the tricks that they can do. But as for actually changing everything, these people, you have to understand, there is advanced technology, which is has to do with time travel. It's not a fantasy. It's not at all. There is this technology, and what they do, like in the Bible, for instance, this is called the Ark of the Covenant. You see, it was a device. It was known that it was not just an ornamental thing, that had religious significance. They knew it was a device. Because everywhere they transported this thing, certain symptoms would happen. For instance, it's said that there was a temple that the Philistines, they stole the Ark of the Covenant and they took it to their country, and everyone was getting piles. So I think there was about the city's inhabitants, there was 3,000 people overnight. They had these piles or something. So they had to give it back. And it's like, whoa, we're not going to touch that device. These devices, they're just alluding to the fact that they have the technology. And they use it to do things like that. And so it's easy to go back in time and insert a virus, a program that is similar but different. Just a different frequency. And who knows? They may actually physically change the wording of the movie, or the title of the movie, or the name of the biscuit brand. Bragg's becomes Bragg, and all of these things. So Looney Tunes becomes Looney Tunes, etc. I think that's going on. I'm not well versed in this. There's a lot of other people who have studied it a lot deeper, but that's what I'm suspecting. There's definitely technology to do these things, and then there's more sort of explainable techniques that they're doing as well, implementing those to confuse us and give us, like a wrong memory. Syndrome.
And there could be a lot of things going on at the one time as well. They could be doing certain things so that people that are looking into it can go down a line of thought and then try and prove it, and then all of a sudden it's changed back.
That's right.
And so they're toying with us as well, I think.
That's right.
And causing confusion and...
in Hollywood, in the Hollywood of Hollywood, they don't just do things straightforward. There's all bewitchment involved in everything they do. Every sentence that is spoken out of Hollywood products, every picture on the wall that you see in all the scenes, if you just stop and pause every frame of any Hollywood film and you look around and you look for symbols and study the expressions and everything and look carefully like some people are doing, you'll find the many layers. It's absolutely, you would be staggered to think how these people actually think of all these things and put so much hidden stuff in the movies. It's because that's why they bother to make movies. They don't want to make movies for your entertainment.
It's all to
They don't want to entertain you.
Indoctrination.
Yeah, they give you a program, TV program. You're going to get your ass programmed.
Okay. Now, I heard you say a while ago on one of your podcasts that you have been what's called a targeted individual. Did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Now, we all are, so I'm not special, but in some instances I feel that I have been especially targeted and picked out. And that's obvious to anyone who knows me and what I've been through in the last 10 years. The 2 times that I've been locked away, for instance, you know, for nothing, no crime, but just for not making, you know, Big Brother happy and conforming like I should be. And other things like that, like the itching that I've had for decades, which has increased. Funnily enough, in 2007, when I first started researching, it's interesting that the itch just it exponentially just got vicious on me. Whereas prior to that, I remember 15 years having that skin irritation as well, it was manageable. I'd lose probably 2 or 3 nights a week to sleep because of not being able to sleep, and sometimes it was 2 nights a week, sometimes 3 nights. That's the worst that we would ever get. But since 2007, you know, it could be explainable by many other ways of explaining it. Maybe I just got unhealthy. Maybe I'm extra sensitive to EMF frequencies. Maybe something happened. I had food poisoning. I don't know. But when I talk to people who know they're targeted individuals and that, all the symptoms are the same. So what'll happen was, I'll go to bed, and the moment I'm just about to fall asleep, this insidious, almost intelligent, creepy, crawly, ticklish itch under the skin. 1 minute it'll be here, next minute it's in my ear, then it's on my toe, then it's on my back, and I have to, and the torture begins. And I'll sit there for hours itching, and I'll just, sleep deprivation has been the order of the day for the last 12 years.
Have you had ringing in the ears as well, or anything like that?
No, but funny, definitely the ears do get affected. In that sometimes they just sort of go, like when you go to the beach sometimes and you come out of the water and sometimes that's
bushy
feeling. That's the only thing that I can point to that might be, proof or evidence that I'm a targeted individual. Now, I said that we all are, because the EMF, the G5 that's coming, the chemtrails, or let's call it the geoengineering, and the chemtrails is a naughty word apparently. This upsets a lot of people. And all of these pollutants, I'm sure that even if I'm not a targeted individual and I'm special and that, someone's out to get me, I'm sure I'm sensitive to the EMF. I can feel it. I know when I do this, if I do, which I don't, on my ear, because I've got to listen to someone who I can hardly hear. Sometimes I have to put it to my ear. Within seconds, there's a burning all around here. And that's sensitivity. So,
I think the more awakened, the more aware we become, the more sensitive we are to these things. Do you find that?
Yes, absolutely. So, as I said, I started waking up in 2007 and my itch increased. The torture increased. So, either it's a manifested thing and there's no outside targeting stuff going on, or it is that, or both. But definitely what I'm going through, many targeted individuals are going through. This Morgellons, nanoparticle under the skin fibres creeping and crawling under the skin and not knowing why and understanding. I've put all kinds of oils on my skin, like this beautiful one you just gave me as a gift. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Which has got, what do you got? Coconut oil. How do you call it?
Fractionated coconut oil.
Fractionated coconut oil.
Yeah, so it won't solidify, it'll stay in the oil state.
Yep. And so it's not saturated.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've got lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, juniper berry, marjoram,
Yep.
and your love.
Yes.
And so now this is going to help. No doubt about it. Like all the other oils that people send me from all around the world, soaps, shampoos, well-intentioned, and they're great, they help.
Yeah.
Nothing fixes this itch.
Yeah.
So, but it does help. Everything helps, but it seems nothing heals. So I worked out why. And we'll get to that in a minute because I know you're going to ask that question because you said you would.
Well, we can lead into that now.
No, I'll just drop it now and then we can discuss it in time. But fasting is health, not eating. Eating, what I've discovered, eating is death.
Yeah.
Simple. So we'll get to that in a minute. But I've discovered this, and it is a truth that is more important than any other truth right now for people. So I really want to talk about this.
Yeah. Yep, that's fine. We'll get to that. I think we're just about there. So, the next question is how long have you been vegan and was it an easy transition? And then we can lead into you talking about your fasting.
Yeah, okay, so vegan, I don't really think of myself as a vegan. The only reason why I would tell anyone or indicate to anyone that I'm vegan is because I really am a voice for animals and love animals and would never ever eat an animal. But I consider myself to be more, I've always called myself a vegetarian. But now, with my new discoveries...
I think vegan's a dirty word, isn't it, to most people out there?
Well,
it's
like everything, isn't it?
It's tainted.
There's always
and
these...
There's this vegan agenda now.
So, and then people look at that, and of course that's what it was designed to do, to get semi-awakened people who are starting to think, to look and say, oh yeah, well that's co-opted by the, it's all Hollywood vegan rubbish. No, we're meat eaters. That's what we learned when we were in kindergarten, and the Bible tells us we can eat chicken bum, cow bum, horse bum, and pig bum, whereas it doesn't. And so these people, they will stop that because everything's been co-opted. Christianity has, health has, now it's gone allopathic, and they actually will kill you if you try and be a homeopath. You get killed. That's how important it is to go the wrong way in this world, and eating meat, for instance, and eating all kinds of aberrations and disgusting, murderous diets of human beings. And so, they've been taught these things as true. And so they've been deceived. So what I've found is that I prefer the expression plant-based or vegetarian rather than vegan. But I also like to use vegan because, again, yes, it has got its bad side, but it's also got its very, very, very good side. And that is that it is a diet that respects other living beings and doesn't decide, oh, that animal hasn't got a name, it hasn't got a voice, so I'm just going to slit its throat and eat its bum. Hey, what right do you have to save a dog, spend thousands of dollars in hospital saving your stupid dog in the friggin' at the vets, and then go and killing one of God's calves and just slitting its throat and putting it down your gluttonous throat just so you can get bowel cancer? Because we're stupid. But there you go, we've got stupid on top of stupid, and you've got the blind leading the blind. And so you've got nutritionists saying, oh, you need pork and cheese and dairy products to have a balanced diet. No, you don't. You need fruit and herbs, idiot. You don't put diesel in a petrol car. You'll destroy it. You don't put vegetables in a frugivore body. Squirrels eat nuts. Lions eat animals. Rabbits eat roots. Freaking carrots and potatoes. They are not our foods. We can't digest them. They ferment. And we're killing, and we've got the proof to point to, and all the evidence that we're all sick and we're all dying. Vegans, freaking meat eaters, paleo alike.
Yeah.
They're all dying with their diets.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Yeah.
And they get told that sugar's no good for you. And yet fructose, sucrose and glucose is the human energy. It's carbohydrates. You put hydrocarbons in a car and you put carbohydrates in the human organism because that is energy, not fats.
Yeah.
Fats make you lazy and stupid.
Yeah.
And you can get enough fats by chewing your fruits properly because the teeth masticate like a cold press. They extract the essence from the fruit. So you're getting your oils, you're getting your so-called bullshit protein, and getting what you really need is minerals and carbs.
Because the whole protein thing is a big psyop too, really, isn't it? Like a push for us to have proteins, and whenever you say that you're on a plant-based diet, the first thing people jump on is, well, how are you getting your protein?
How are you getting your protein? Well, fruit.
Yeah.
Fruit's got everything.
Yeah.
Got vitamins, minerals, water,
Yeah.
carbohydrates, sugar, everything you need. Because as it says, in all the holy scriptures, I give you fruit and herbs.
Yeah.
That's it. The stupid men, they see the squirrels eating nuts and they think, oh, we've got to put nuts away. We've got to have nuts. And you see lions eating freaking gazelle bum, so we go and kill a gazelle and eat its bum.
Yeah.
And we're bum eaters.
Yeah.
And we're all sick and dying for it.
Yeah. So the transition for you from, you would have been a meat eater when you were in your younger years, were you? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it an easy transition?
Oh, the most blessed, easy thing I've ever done.
It was for me too.
Of course it was. You walk away from that shit. You walk away from
I actually got
death.
sick from eating meat, so then I just went to chicken, or stayed with chicken and fish. Then I got sick with chicken, so then I was just on fish, and then I went full vegetarian. And then a few years later I went back to pescatarian, and then vegetarian, and now vegan. But it's been an easy process as well for me. Yeah.
So easy. You just walk away from that. That's a prison.
Yeah.
It's a death trap.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Best thing you can ever do.
So do you want to talk a little bit about your fasting now and how long
Yep,
you've
okay,
gone
so
with that?
it's 43 days of liquid fasting.
Yep.
And I've just about cured myself of all sorts of mucus-related Lyme's, lupus, rubbish that you could, Morgellons, that you could ever possibly, name. On the 12th day of the fast, I passed what was like a cyst. It was the size of a golf ball. It was tissue.
Yep.
This is the 12th day of liquid fasting.
Yeah.
Okay? And that morning, for 4 hours, I thought, I'm going to die. I thought, this fasting business, this is not working for me. 12 days, I'm going to start eating after I feel better.
Yeah.
And after 4 hours, I just felt I had to go to the toilet. And I sat there, and I passed this thing, and I looked down into the toilet. It looked like a miscarriage.
Yeah.
I have to use these descriptive terms, otherwise people won't understand how serious this is. If I didn't fast, I wouldn't have shut down my stomach and my organs enough to give them time to stop and clean up house.
Yeah.
And what they did was they found that cyst, and the moment I passed it, after 4 hours of nearly dying, wow, I felt like a new person. So I stuck to the fast, and now it's 43 days. Yes, I'm underweight. This is the lightest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
But I feel good. I have energy. As you can see, I've got a lot of energy. I feel healthy. My itch is getting better. Sleep's getting better.
Yeah.
Skin's getting better.
Yeah.
It's more hydrated, more soft.
Yeah.
Stomach. I was always sort of lumpy in here, tension. Something's unsettled, always.
Yeah.
Always. Ever since that cyst, I dropped that. Peace. I feel a real good, strong, deep peace in the stomach. Because when you're eating all the time, 3 meals a day, this is burdensome to the body.
To the body, yeah.
It's so burdensome that it makes you angry. It makes you unsettled, confused.
And because a lot of people don't realise that the immune system is seated in the gut, but if the gut is continually having to digest, it's compromising the immune system, which is another reason why we have ill health. It's because we're taken away from the immune system by continually putting strain on the digestive system. Yeah.
Exactly. So what I've found is, I've discovered that for me, and for many of the listeners, the best food is liquid.
Yeah.
And like we were when we were children, little babies, we came in drinking liquid. Now the problem with this is that most people who do fasts, they go for 3 days or 4 days, and it is the worst experience they've ever had. It always has for me. I've done so many 3-day fasts, and they were all of them were hell.
Yeah, that's what I've found. I've only got up to 3 days.
They don't work.
Yeah.
They just make you sick, those 3-day fasts, because we're toxic.
Yeah.
You can be a vegan for 10 years and you can still have putrefying, fermented, rotten particles in your intestines for decades and decades and decades and decades, and you'll never, ever, ever lose that unless you fast.
Yeah.
You can't, because while you're eating, you are continuing to channel food through those intestinal walls and compacting the plaque that is already there. It's just keeping it up and feeding it with more rubbish.
Yeah.
But when those intestines are empty and there's only fruit juice pumping through it, fruit juice is, especially grape juice and lemon juice, is very astringent. It just pulls out all the heavy metals and all the rubbish. Distilled water as well, pumped with distilled water. And you just flushing. And then you got to do your dry fasting to at least 16 hours a day. Nothing.
Yeah.
Because like a sponge, you have to rinse, go dry, and then soak. Soak the sponge, and grab the sponge and rinse.
Yeah.
So drinking for 8 hours, drink 4 or 5 litres.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
And so in doing this, you're actually releasing that plaque. It just falls off.
Yeah.
It dries up and just falls off, and you see it coming out.
Yeah.
As I told you before, it's the 43rd day. I'm only 50 kilos over here, 13 kilos underweight.
Yeah.
Well, that's 105 so pounds for Americans and English.
Yeah.
That's super lightweight.
Yeah.
And yet, almost for 43 days of this fast, I have been eliminated.
And with boundless energy.
And not just that cyst on the 12th day. I remember the 20th and the 21st day, I had so much diarrhea.
Yeah.
Like I was sitting in the toilet, it was like a river.
Yeah.
I don't know how many hours I sat on there for.
Yeah.
It was the 21st day. And then on the 30th day, I remember the same thing.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I thought, I haven't eaten anything.
Yeah.
Where is it coming from a 50 kilo man?
Yeah.
Well, it comes from when you start emptying your small intestines and all the plaque, all the mucus, all the dead matter, the parasites, the ammonia, the sulfur, all the toxins, free radicals, heavy metals, they all fall away.
Yeah.
And as you implement support modalities like black charcoal, bentonite clay, psyllium husk, and you push the stuff through, and you take herbal teas, etc.
Yep.
As you do all those good things, you watch all the intestines and all your GI tract just evacuate over the months.
Yeah.
And then eventually, your lymphatic system, which was backed up, drains into that new space now, opened up, and it cleans up, and then you can see it on your skin.
Yeah.
You can see the life coming back to your skin.
Yeah.
Because now the cells, they're drinking all that drink that you're hydrating with. And you're not eating, biscuits and cakes and dry things which have no juice.
Yeah.
The juicier the food, the longer you live. So what I see for me is that the reason I have teeth is to chew food, to extract its essence.
Yeah.
So you chew on a bit of parsley, a bit of basil, a bit of coriander, you extract the essence. Once you chew enough and there's pulp there,
Yep.
and it has no taste,
Yeah.
you don't need that.
Yeah.
You've got the essence. You've got the liquid, the life. Spit that out. Otherwise you'll be going to the toilet for the rest of your life and buying packets and packets of toilet paper and filling up sewers left, right and centre. We don't need the sewer industry. We don't. Because we don't need to be pooers.
Yeah.
Because we don't even need to be eaters.
I think it came off again. There we go.
Yeah.
So what were you saying? Drink your foods.
Yes, and all the wise people that I recall saying, drink your food,
Yep.
eat your liquids.
Yep.
What does that mean? Well, when you grab a whole bunch of dandelion flowers in the morning and you put them in your mouth, you masticate them properly, eventually those teeth turn that into liquid. You can swallow that,
Yeah.
but don't gulp it down without chewing it, because the digestion starts here.
Yeah.
And you must put saliva in everything you drink. You don't want to be drinking things like gulping down and stuff.
Yeah.
You take sips, just mix a little bit of saliva, swallow. That's called eating your liquids. And drinking your food always means to have good juicy food, like fruit.
Yeah.
Extract the juice, drink the fruit. So, for instance, I get a bunch of berries, put them in my mouth, chew them. Once all that seedy, rubbishy stuff in the garden for the ants, I've got the best I needed. I've got the juice, I've got the carbs, I've got the energy, and you feel it instantly. You don't have to wait. You've had bacon and eggs. You've got to wait 4 hours before that digests, and then before you start getting energy again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Apple juice, low energy,
Yep.
one sip. You can do a marathon. One sip. That's why all sportsmen, every single one of them, they don't look at fats, they don't look at protein. They laugh at that.
Yeah.
Carbs. They're all taking sugar. Sugar. The food of man.
Yeah.
And whenever you hear someone saying sugar's bad for you, run away. That's a fool.
Yeah.
That's a moron.
Yeah.
Got no idea.
That's another one of the, like the opposition. They're coming in with an opposite to what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Upside down world that we live in.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. You can tell sugar's our food because of how good you feel, and it stays good as long as you're having that natural sugar.
Yeah.
Fructose, sucrose, glucose.
Yeah.
Glycogen.
Yeah. Right.
Not gluten.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your time, Santos. Really appreciate this.
Yep.
And I'll get this out as soon as I can, and I'll link it to you. I'll let you know when I get it up. And,
Good.
Yeah.
That's all right.
All right. Okay. Ciao, everyone.